Let's start with how you got started in trapping, how you got interested in that.
I got interested in trapping.
Yes, sir.
I was about 8 or 10 years old and didn't have any money, and somebody said, well, you can get $5 or $9 a piece for the coyotes. So to start out with, well, I'd catch a coyote and take him to Folson's at the railroad depot. And that guy would take a knife and split his ears. And if it was a female, he'd give you, I think, 50 cents. And if it was a dog, he'd give you a quarter. There was a bounty on them.
Okay.
And then I found out that I could flesh them. I learned how to flesh them and stretch them and skin them, and I'd package them up and take them to the post office and mail them to J.E. Eisenhower, Denver, Colorado. And I'd go down to if the post office wouldn't take them, I'd have them rolled up in a big roll, kind of like a piece of carpet. And I'd go to the railroad depot and they'd telegraph me a check. And that's the way I got started. And then back when we was in a world of hurt with this nuclear holocaust, Russia had some missiles setting up pointed at us. Well, the United States decided that they needed some troops that could stand that cold. So they had to train a bunch of troops. So they sent them to Alaska and back north where it was really cold, and they built them mucklucks and parkas and everything like that. So our troops could stay with the Russians. They could stand that cold. Well, coyotes got to be bringing 50, even 75, even 80 bucks for a coyote. So I started trapping. I could make more trapping in 85 or 90 days than I could make 3 years working for wages. And a fox fur will not frost. So they'd line their hoods with fox fur. And then the rest of it would be coyote and coon and badger and whatever you had. And I got started trapping then, and I'd trap, 200 or 300 coyotes a year. And, back then, if you made $3,000 or $4,000 in a year, that's pretty darn good money.
And it was about, that was during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, that was during that
60s.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah.
And once in a while I'd catch a big old tom bobcat and it'd bring $500-600 for one fur.
Yeah.
In the winter, Henry?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd,
I want that winter fur on.
I was living north of Clayton, about 65 miles right along the Colorado line. And our ranch was about a third in New Mexico and about 2/3 into Colorado. And most of that country was straight up and down. The rest of it was, just wasn't nothing there. The Lord threw it in there to hold everything together so it wouldn't just fall apart. Sort of reason was there. But anyways, that's where I was trapping.
Jack was talking about you this morning.
And anyways, I got to trapping up there and just did pretty doggone good. And then later when that market went to hell, well, I went to work for a Anchor Cattle Company there at Dalhart, Texas, on that Beck and Baggett ranch. And I worked there for several years. I finally wound up foreign that outfit. But anyways, I was riding out through there and I seen this yearling laying there, and his hind leg was eat off. He was trying to get up and go to water, but his hind leg was eat up. His guts just strung out through there. And I looked at them tracks and I thought, well, that's an awful big dog. That track was, it was probably,
About 4 inches
Close to
across,
3
3.5.
inches.
Yeah.
had to be a big, big dog. So I called the boss, told him, I said, we got problems over here. I said, we got something killing cattle. And he said, what do you need? I said, I need some good big traps. I need some heavy traps. He said, well, where can I get them? And I said, well, you go to Amarillo Hardware, you can get them there. So he went to Amarillo Hardware and bought me some 4.5 new house traps. So I set them out there and I caught. Well, first I couldn't catch anything. I mean, they'd go around my traps, and I thought, well, this is kind of stupid. So I got to getting sagebrush and putting in a big old half of a barrel with water and boil it and mix the oil and grease, and I'd boil my traps, my trap covers, my gloves, I'd boil everything, my tarp. And then when I'd see them tracks, I'd drive through the pastures, watch them trails going back into them sand hills over there along that Pundialva River over there. And so I would get on the downwind side of that trail with a pickup. There's used to pickup tracks, it didn't bother them, but human, human sense. And I'd throw my tarp out there, and I'd bed me a trap in that trail. And I'd sit on that tarp and put all my dirt and everything on that trap. And when I left that, I'd brush it down to where I couldn't tell where it was. I'd have to get a stick to poke to find it. And anyways, I finally caught this old female wolf. And so I come over the hill there in the pickup, and this big old black looking dog was chewing on that trap. So I got my rifle out. Had to study quite a bit. He was off about 300 yards. I finally got him lined up pretty good, and I drilled him. Went over there and got him and her, took him out of the trap. And then there was still that one big track, one big track, one big track. And then there was a guy working for Matt Kehoe and Nick's cattle company over there. And he was cutting ice over there. And he went out there one morning and he seen this piece of aluminum pipe. Well, what in the world? And when he got up to it, well, that was this other wolf. And he'd run a rabbit up in that pipe, and then rubbers had hooked up behind his ears, and he was hooked there. And he didn't have a gun, so he chopped his head off with an axe, and that was the end of the wolves there. And that was the end of the wolves right there in Hartley County.
Huh.
I got 2 of them, and he got 1 of them there. And
Now, were those timber wolves, or were they the gray wolves that migrate up?
They were just old
Mexico.
gray wolves like roamed the prairies. They was old.
Okay.
They wasn't timber wolves. They wasn't. They looked like a buffalo. They was big, massive shoulders and a little peaked ass area.
Okay.
Where they sloped off.
Now, Texas Parks and Wildlife has recently
You had
been
to keep- you had to
reintroducing
keep
the
it quiet.
gray wolves.
At this time, they was raising them wolves and turning them loose on the public, but they wasn't telling nobody about it. And I found out that if you found out about it, you were getting pretty bad trouble. So I just kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And that same way with the game department, they mountain lions.
Yeah.
They got to killing colts
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you talked
Yeah.
about that before when we came to interview you last time. I'm interested in how did you gain your knowledge of how to do effective trapping? And sometimes different animals have different habits. They require different trapping techniques. Did you?
Well, the way you learn is by watching their tracks and see what you do that they didn't like and what they go around and what they. And a wolf or a coyote, he won't go into a closed place. It's got to be open. And it's just like if you can stick a jackrabbit out there and set traps around him, and you'll catch buzzards and crows and chicken hawks and whatever. And but there can be a little old bush about this tall sitting off out there about 20 or 30 foot. And you can go out there and set you a trap behind that bush, and you're going to catch it. He'll go sit behind that bush and he'll watch it, and he'll watch it, and he'll study it, and he'll study it. And then when you see tracks, and you're going down the road and you see coyotes or wolf, when you see their turds along the, pick them up and put them in a bucket. And then when you see where all the trails come together and go around the fence corner, you just scatter you some turds around there and put you a piss post there. It's just like a dog peeing on a car tire. Every dog comes by there is going to hike his leg, and you're going to catch him. But you learn that from watching their tracks and experience. They can't nobody teach you. You got to learn it the hard way.
Okay.
And I got to where I could move into a country that somebody else had trapped, and I could catch more than they did. I'd catch the old ones, the three-toed ones and the three-legged ones, and they'd catch the pups. But I'd catch all the good old big heavy furs.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have enough IQ yet. They hadn't trapped long enough to figure it out.
Okay.
But that's the best way for that. Just
And using scat, the types of bait, how to set your traps and conceal them, and like you just mentioned, boiling your clothing and everything to get rid of the scent.
The
Those
scent.
all are
That
ideas that just came to you naturally through.
well, I learned how to get rid of my scent, you know. Or I'd use if I was trapping in cedar brush country, like over around Memphis, I'd use I'd chop up them boughs off of cedar trees, boil them, and get that wax on the traps and everything like that. And then I learned that cougars love beavers. Just like a cat loves a mouse, she'll catch him and eat him. So when I trapped beavers, I'd save the beaver casters and beaver oil. They got scent glands, and I'd use that to lure them in. And then also on the ridge, old Tom, he'll go about, old Tom line, he'll go about 20, 30 miles, 40 miles. He'll make a circle on the ridges. And every so often he'll come back through there. And if he finds another Tom in there, one of them going to die. And I learned to where you could find their scrapes where they'd make a scrape and poop. And you could tell which way they was heading because they'd always turn around and look down their back trail. When they went to void, they'd always look down their back trail. They wouldn't look that way. But you could figure it out if you just watch your tracks a little bit and get it all figured out. Yeah. It worked pretty good. I caught several lions, several bears. The bears was pretty bad about killing cattle. And the government up there around Philmont Scout Ranch, Raton, up in there, they trapped them bears that was causing trouble. And they brought them down there and turned them loose on the ranchers.
Oh.
So we didn't have no choice, so they hired the game department to come in there, and the game department says, oh, that's just a figment of your imagination. And you're blaming this on the game department. You ain't, the bears or lions ain't killing nothing. Well, after I got a bunch of hides nailed up on the barn wall, they was going to prosecute me, and all them ranchers got together, and they give me a bill of sale for the cattle and colts and stuff they killed. And then Papa got with a bunch of ranchers, and they went and got a lawyer, and they said they was going to go to the Supreme Court if they had to. That them wasn't cougars and bears, them was a figment of their imagination. That wasn't what was killing their cattle. So they decided, well, let's just forget about it. So they said, from now on, you get a hold of us. They said, well, we've been getting hold of you for 4 or 5 years. And you said there wasn't nothing wrong. We get this boy to take care of a problem, and you want to send him to pen. They said, we ain't going to stand for it. So that was the end of that. They just thrown it out of court. And then I caught Papa's little brother called me and said, you missing the trap? And I said, well, probably so. Something broke a chain on one of them. Well, he said, I found your trap. I said, oh, you did? He says, it's over here at my East Mill. He said, there's a cougar wearing it. And he said, it looks like snow around there. He said, that little old cougar weighed about 120 pounds. He was a yearling, past yearling. And he said, there's a big old trap there. There's a big old Tom. This other Tom had found that cougar in his territory, and he killed him. And there was just fur and hair just everywhere where he'd clawed him. But that other Tom got in his territory, so he killed him. And I never did catch that old Tom. I never did catch that. But to my knowledge, he wasn't killing cattle. And the worst deal I got into was this old bear. I knew he was killing cattle because I'd follow. I see the sign, follow, and watch. So I got my little sister to go with me, and I was working over here around Dalhart. So I built me some traps and took north. My little sister went with me, and I went by the feed lot, picked up 4 or 5 baby calves that was born dead or whatever. And I went out and made my traps. And in 2 weeks, I'd caught 4 bears. And I caught the old bear. He didn't have no hair on him. He was almost hairless. His eyes was milky, and his muzzle was all gray, and he had 1 tusk. He was real old, about as poor as your hand, and just real, and he was so poor and mangy. But he could still catch a baby calf and eat it. And that's what he was living on. He'd go around the calving pastures where the heifers was having baby calves. That's what he was living on. And when I got rid of him, then I stopped the problem. But I killed 3 other bears before I got rid of him. Now, whether them others was killing calves, I don't know.
Right.
But anyways, I finally got rid of the problem.
Well, speaking of how cats protect their territory, I noticed when I was managing Wildcat Bluff Nature Center, just outside of Amarillo, there were bobcats that would come up to water, close to the windmill up there. And then, of course, there was always other animals that would come to the same place to water as well. So I'd see lots of tracks there. But then one day, as I was looking for tracks, one thing and another, I saw some scat that was hanging up in a tumbleweed. And I'm going, what the heck? Why would a cat take a dump on a tumbleweed? Because normally they'll cover their scat up. Do you think that was a means of marking its territory? Because I was seeing tracks of more than 1 cat out there.
Well, a cat, he generally, he don't be like a dog. He can squirt from here to that wall. And he generally just squirts everything with his urine.
Right.
And a dog, a wolf, or a coyote marks his stuff with his scat. But a cat don't generally mark with his scat.
Okay.
So I don't know unless something just had the shits is all I know.
Okay.
It just squirted up on
Well, like you, I was trying to learn through observation, and that's the only time I've ever seen any cat
Up in the
scat
weeds.
up in a weed like that,
Yeah.
so the wind could carry it or whatever.
Hey,
And it was smelly stuff too.
Ralph Ray's lost 2 poles last year. Been there, got cat.
Okay.
But them damn wolves are so smart. They won't, say there was a wolf here in Clarendon, this, say, 10-mile area. And she has puppies. She won't kill nothing here. She'll go off over to Headley or Claude or someplace. And she'll eat till she's just gorgeous. And she'll come back and feed her puppies.
Yeah.
But she won't attract any attention whatsoever around her
Den.
area, around her den.
Right.
And a coyote is basically the same way. They'd come out of McCory's into the Beck Ranch. And we were starting a lot of yearlings. Of course, we'd have a 2 or 3% death loss. And they'd come in there and feed. And then I'd be a horseback starting in pastures. And you'd see this old coyote going along there, and then she'd be throwing up. You'd see stuff coming out. You have to get your rope down and rope her and knock her in the head with your wire pliers or whatever if you didn't have a rifle. But they'd carry that back to their puppies and feed them. But they don't like
Disgorging what they'd already eaten, yeah.
Yeah, they would
Capture the
regurgitate it for them.
Right,
That's the way
right.
they fed their puppies.
Right.
And mountain lion, sometimes she'll bring her kittens to a kill. Had this lion drug about a 350-pound calf straight up the hill, straight over rocks. You'd see hair and everything. There's no cedar tree up there under the rim rock. Had a big old limb stuck out there about 10 or 15 foot. And that lion had done eat part of that calf, I guess, because that limb was stuck in his rib cage there, and it come out up everybody's shoulder. And she had drugged that lion plumb up against the stump of that tree, as far as she could get it, and just clawed and dug, trying to go further. And couldn't go. And then I found tracks where she had brought her kittens back there to feed on. So she don't regurgitate for them. She'll either take it to them, but she don't vomit for her.
Right.
And the first one born, the first cat born, she'll eat it. It lays against the pelvis and it's deformed. And it'll be deformed all of its life. And nature tells her. And when she has that first one, she'll eat it. And then she'll fight to the death for the rest of them. But that first one, she'll eat it.
Interesting.
And an old Tom, if he finds them kittens,
Yeah.
he'll eat every one of them and just leave the head. He'll just leave their heads laying there. But he'll eat every one of them because he don't want no more males in his kingdom, you know. That's the way he controls them.
And feral, what you'd call house cats. What most people call a house cat. The feral ones will do the same thing. I've noticed that where I'm living south
they'll
of
kill a
Wilson
little.
now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's instinct in them. It's built up and natural.
All right. Well, thank you very much.